I feel like this is where I might lose some people. I think about that bridge at least once a day. I actually really love this song. I feel like this one is already so underrated. This is the All Too Well of this album. I mean, I should just give this song God tier for the bridge alone. If I had this song in high school, it would have been over for me. Maybe I'll just put that in the bottom. I apologize. Best song on both albums. I will say it. This is my favorite song from the entire 31 songs. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's Nena. If you haven't seen it, I did a part 1 of ranking Tortured Poets where I ranked the first half of the album, the standard edition, Fortnight through Clara Bow. Because I just yapped for so long, I decided to make it into 2 parts, so go check out the first half if you haven't seen that already to see how I ranked that part of the album. And today we are going to be tackling the anthology. As everybody else was, I was completely, utterly shocked when Taylor Swift dropped the anthology. I was gonna say speechless, but I was the opposite of speechless. And I truly did not know what to expect with the second half, but it is very interesting how Taylor Swift organized these 2 sides of the album. To me, I feel like this is one album that has kind of 2 sides to it. Some people might consider these albums separate, but for me, they're kind of like interlaced together. Kind of like Folklore and Evermore, but more like just one album. Obviously, the first half has a lot of songs that are produced by Jack Antonoff, so a lot of those songs are more upbeat, have a lot of synths, and very unique production. It made sense to me why Taylor Swift kind of put that first, because obviously when she added Tortured Poets to the Eras tour, basically all of the songs are from the first half of the album, the standard edition, except for the outro of So High School, because I feel like she needed an album that she could take to stage, and I feel like a ton of those songs were very much built and had so much potential to be on stage, whereas the second half is more like Folklore and Evermore, where you could take it to stage, but a lot of them are not as upbeat, a lot of them are more acoustic. I feel like that's kind of why Taylor kind of separated them, but she really did want to give us the whole picture. As far as if I have a preference between the 2 sides, I don't think I have a strong preference either way. I think I like an equal amount of songs from both sides, but I feel like I do have some differing opinions on the second half here. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let me start a screen recording. So I'm starting where I left off. So first half is ranked, it's there. I don't think I would change anything about it. I think this is pretty accurate. So moving in to the anthology, track 1, probably the best track 1 to ever track 1. Truly. We are going to be starting off very strong here, putting The Black Dog in the very top row. It's a love story. As soon as I heard this song, I knew that it was going to be my favorite. I just had this feeling about this song. And I also think like the unexpected drop also added to how I feel about this song, because I just wasn't expecting it at all. This was a song that is on the deluxe albums, the deluxe CDs, and I thought I wasn't gonna be able to hear it until I got the physical CD, so I was so happy when these were the songs on the second half of the album. The Black Dog, oh my god, this is the All Too Well of this album. This is quintessential Taylor Swift storytelling at its best. It's a story told from beginning to end. It's got this high point in the bridge. It takes you on a journey. It has the catharsis that happens in the end, the release of emotions, just like pure raw experience, and just, it's so good. It's literally so good. And the vocals alone in the bridge and like the soaring high notes, and it's one of those songs that truly just like stirs something in your soul. I feel like it's not often that I come across these songs that I feel so deeply in my bones. I add this to my list, my top top tier list. Last Kiss, You Are in Love, All Too Well, Black Dog is going right up there on the top shelf with my favorite songs. Like, I just think the lyrics, the emotion, and the melody, everything works together for good in this song, and you feel so fulfilled by the end of it. Just like that last line where it's almost like a breath in just gets me every time. Oh my god. So, starting off strong, top of the list, best song on both albums. I will say it. This is my favorite song from the entire 31 songs. So, let's move that all the way over just because. It just deserves top tier, top of the list. Okay, moving into the second track on the anthology. This is the track 2 that I was waiting for. I feel like this song compared to the Tortured Poets Department title track, this one is like 10 times more a track 2 than the other one. Just because I feel like it has the most catchy hook, the bridge, just the bridge itself. This is a 13 out of 10 bop. And for that reason, it's also going in the top row. Like, top row. These 2 tracks to start off the album, like, so good. And I love the production of this song and the little nods to the 1975. I think, oh, it's just so clever, so clever. It's honestly insane how Jack just stays completely neutral whilst working with all of these different artists that have very different relationships with each other. What a professional. Because Jack has produced a lot of the 1975's recent music, I feel like that bled into this a little bit, and I'm sure that it was on purpose because Taylor doesn't do anything on accident, but this song, the production of it sounds very similar to the 1975. Specifically the intro, just like that first 5 seconds before she starts singing, sounds almost identical to the beginning of a song called Looking for Somebody to Love. I don't know. The moment in the bridge where it pauses, it's just like, this song feels very similar to Dress in that way, where there's like that pause and the buildup of the end of the song. So good. Okay. Track 3 is the Albatross, and this one has the prettiest guitar sounds in it, like the picking pattern. I think she has some of the most clever lines in this song and the most like phonetically pleasing consonants, if that makes any sense. The one line where she says, "Only liquor anoints you," that's like probably one of my favorite lines from the whole song. Just the way that she says that, it's like, it scratches my brain. This is already getting very tough. I don't want to put too many songs like in the top 2 tiers. Okay. Okay, I think just because I love how acoustic this is, I love the guitar parts, and I love the story. It feels very like folklore to me, this like albatross story, because there's a lot of symbolism with it as well. So that's like a next level metaphor that you kind of have to really listen to the lyrics and do some research, like to figure out what she is meaning by the albatross and like all of that kind of stuff. This is a next level song. So I think I'm going to put this in the second tier. Yeah. Okay, so the next song is Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus, which is quite the mouthful, and I did not know how to interpret that when I first saw the title. It was so random to me and so like long, and I feel like this is where I might lose some people because I know that so many people love this song and were immediately drawn to it. For me, I think it's good. I think it's a pretty song. I like the piano part. I think it's got really beautiful lyrics, but I feel like it just kind of coasts to me. It's a pretty song. I do love the parallel to Maroon, Scarlet Maroon, and I feel like this song gives us a lot of connections to Easter eggs. It's like very like revealing of Taylor's muses, and also just kind of like adds so much context for the rest of the album and all the other songs as well. I just feel like it's a very honest song. I think my favorite lyric is, "You said some things that I can't unabsorb." I really like that imagery, but for me, I think I have to put this in the third tier. A great little story, because I don't think I resonate with it as much as other songs, and it just kind of, again, just kind of coasts along, and it's pretty, but it's not one that I'm replaying a lot. Also, I have some thoughts about this title because I don't think it does a good job of explaining what the whole song is about, I guess. Obviously, Taylor chose it intentionally, but I think it's such a mouthful. Like, I feel like the title of it could have been something like Wonder, because she just says that word so many times throughout the song, like Will I Always Wonder or something like that. But the fact that she uses all these names, she probably chose it deliberately, obviously, so maybe I need to do more research, but I don't know. It just kind of fell a little bit short for me. I apologize. Okay, moving on to the track 5 of the anthology, which is How Did It End? I think for me, this song is a grower, and this is a song that the more I listened to the lyrics, the more invested in it I was, and it's so emotional. This was the perfect track 5 for this album because of how vulnerable it is, and she's acknowledging that whenever a relationship ends for her, what her experience is being on, you know, the biggest stage in the world and having to explain why her relationship ended, and the only reason she has to do that is because everybody knows. Everybody's like so interested in her life. If she was just a normal person, maybe like you'd get a little bit from your friends, but like everybody wants to know your business. Everybody wants to know how did it end? And just her knowing that everybody is speculating and talking about it. And I can't imagine what it feels like to, you know, have that pressure of the entire world weighing in on if you're going to break up with someone or not, because that might have been part of the reason Taylor Swift fought for that relationship for so long, because she wanted to prove to everybody that she's just not some girl that dates a bunch of boys and writes songs about them. And I think this song is kind of like, oh, well, here we go again. Like, I'm proving them right by not being able to stay in a relationship or find my right person, even though that's obviously so not what she should be thinking, because it's her life and who cares what she does and who she dates and for how long and whatever. She's literally just trying to find her person. I mean, I should just give this song God tier for the bridge alone, because oh my god, I think about that bridge at least once a day. It's absolutely the most poetic thing ever. If someone tells you like, oh, Taylor Swift songs all sound the same, she just writes like glitter gel pen songs. This bridge, just show them this bridge, because it is the most prolific thing I've ever heard in my life. So I think for that reason I need to put it at the top. Almost objectively, like subjectively, but also just objectively, I feel like the respect this song deserves is top tier. Say it once again with feeling, how the death rattle breathing, silenced as the soul was leaving me bereft and reeling. My beloved ghosted me, sitting in a tree, DYING. Bereft? I had to look up that one for sure. Oh my god. And then also just like the sadness in this song where she says, come one, come all, it's happening again. It makes me so sad. We'll tell no one except all of our friends. We must know, how did it end? Okay, so that track 5 redeemed itself. That is top tier, like amazing. Okay, moving on to So High School. This is track 6, which is so funny because on the first album, But Daddy I Love Him is also track 6, and she decided to mash those up on the Eras tour, and I just thought that was so funny because also You Belong With Me is track 6 on Fearless, so I feel like this track 6 area is always just like a fun song, like Shake It Off. Like track 6 is like that moment of levity in the album right after the most tragic track 5 ever. You need kind of like a mood booster after that, and Taylor Swift is so chaotic for doing this. On almost every album she has a track 6 that's like, okay, stop crying and get up and dance. So we have So High School. Between The Alchemy and this song, you know, the Travie songs, I prefer The Alchemy a little bit more, but I love So High School so much. I think it's the cutest song. It is all of the early 2000s vibes. The guitar sounds so like it could be at the end of a high school football movie. I love that Taylor just pulled on all of the stereotypes. Truth or dare, spin the bottle. Everything you see in like an early 2000s TV show, high school drama, movie, all the cliches are in this song. She does it in the most fun way ever, and I feel like after seeing it on the Eras tour, I love this song even more just because like the fun little choreography that she does on stage, and the bridge and the outro are so catchy. Truth, dare, spin bottles, you know how to fall, I know Aristotle. Like, I will sing that throughout the day. It'll just be in my head and I'll just be like, you know, walking around singing it and not even realizing it. And then my sister's like yelling from upstairs, can you stop singing the same line over and over again? I think I need to put this in the second tier. She's the kind of book that you can't put down. I don't normally skip this song. It's so fun, especially if you got the windows down and you're driving. It's very summery. Just for the overall vibes of this song, it deserves to be in this tier for sure. Up next we have I Hate It Here. I feel like this is another song that kind of has to grow on me, and I feel like it will. And this song I feel like totally belongs on Folklore just because of like the escapism of it, the acoustic guitar picking pattern. Before she did this mashup, I totally thought like it's giving The Lakes, like she's just wants to be taken away to another place. And when she mashed up this song with The Lakes, literally last night in Cardiff, I was like, oh my god. And it was one of the best mashups she's ever done because the way that she mashed it up, it was almost like symbolic and giving deeper meaning to the mashup. Like there is definitely a reason she did this. She kind of changed the words and she said like, I hate it here, like, so take me to the lakes. At the very end of this song when she says, in way up here, I actually love it, is kind of the journey that she's been on. She used to want to hide away, like take me to the lakes, take me out of here, I don't want to have to deal with everything. And then, you know, she comes back, she goes on the Eras tour, she goes through heartbreak, and then she comes out on the other side and she's having the time of her life on the Eras tour, and then she realizes like, I actually do love it here now that I have overcome all of these challenges. And so I think, oh, to hear her like sing it that way was like, it made me so happy. For I Hate It Here, the song itself, the chorus I love, and as somebody who loves my little escapism sometimes, whether it's like reading, playing guitar, getting lost in nature, like I'm a huge escapist, love it. I love escaping reality from time to time. So I love the meaning of this song, but I feel like the verses don't quite do it for me. They're a little stagnant, but the chorus is so good. So I'm gonna put this in the third tier, a great little story, because I appreciate the meaning and the sentiment of the song. I don't love kind of like the verses, I guess. I don't mind the lyrics. I like the lyrics, but just kind of like the melody, and I don't know. It doesn't quite hit me until we get to the chorus, like how, I don't know. I feel like it needs lyrics and melody and production all to work together for me to love an entire song from beginning to end, but I feel a tiny bit unfulfilled with this song. But honestly, this is just me nitpicking having to rank these songs because like I truly love all of them and I listen to all of them. This is one that I have to kind of skip every now and then just because it's not the vibe. Like if I'm wanting a more uplifting vibe, I kind of need to shelve it and then maybe listen to it if I'm like winding down or at night. I feel like most of the anthology will be on my autumn fall playlist with the rest of Evermore and Folklore, so it's just not its time right now, but I'm sure it will move up the list eventually. Okay, so next we have Thank You, Amy. And this song is kind of like a grown-up version of Mean, and Mean is one of my favorite songs from Speak Now and one of the songs that made me a Swiftie. So I love love a good song that's kind of like a clap back, like look where I am now, reflecting on the journey it took you to get somewhere in spite of other people who have tried to tear you down. I don't know how I feel about the capital letters. Like, I know that everyone's saying like this is a nod to Kim Kardashian, but I do think the whole Kim thing is like a red herring for who the song is actually about. I feel like this song could be about multiple different bullies that Taylor has had throughout her life. Was it necessary to capitalize the letters? I don't know. I feel like that kind of took away from the song a little bit because everybody was focused on the fact that it was about Kim Kardashian and not the song itself. For me, again, like I said in my last video, I don't mind the F word, but I feel like some people that kind of turns them off from a song, and she says the F word a lot in this song until the end when she changes it to thank you, Amy. So like I said, I could take or leave the F word, but I do love the sentiment of this song. I don't listen to it too often. I think when you're putting it next to all of these other songs that I love so much, it doesn't quite rank up there with like I Hate It Here, all these other ones. So I think I'm gonna put Thank You Amy in The Story's Got Dust on Every Page. I feel like it's kind of just like a reinvented version of Mean with a couple F words in it. I still like the song, I just don't like it as much as the other one. So, okay, moving on, I Look in People's Windows. Immediately, this is the one that I wanted to go back and listen to after I finished listening to the anthology. I think, obviously, since I'm a guitar player, I'm paying attention to, like, the instruments, and the picking pattern of this one is so addicting. Obviously, a lot of people drew a parallel to Death by a Thousand Cuts because it kind of has the same picking pattern, the same chords. And I feel like a lot of people were expecting her to mash up those two songs, but instead she did I Look in People's Windows and Snow on the Beach, which was kind of interesting. I love this song so much. This is for everybody who kind of just like wanders, you know, aimlessly looking through other people's lives. I'm such a wanderer. I love to think about how everybody is like living their own individual life and like what it is to just kind of wonder and like live through all, you know, just, I think it's called Sonder, where you just kind of like are aware that everyone is living their own unique life. And in this song, it kind of combines that phenomenon with also like wondering if you're ever going to see somebody who was once in your life but now are a stranger. And I feel like I kind of walk through the world in the same type of way, wondering like if you're ever going to run into somebody from your past again. So, okay, I only have 1, 2, 3, I don't even know why I made a bottom tier because I just knew I would never like be that person that puts songs in the bottom tier because none of them deserve it. They don't deserve it. Okay, I Look in People's Windows is gonna go in the second tier? Yes? Yeah, for I Look in People's Windows. Okay. No, wait. Why do I want to put all of these in the top? Okay, wait. I Look in People's Windows. I think I'm gonna put it in the top tier. Now that I'm thinking about it, yes. Okay. The Prophecy. This song, if I had this song in high school, it would have been over for me. Like, it's a good thing a lot of these songs were not in existence when I was 16, because I think I just they would have wrecked me. I would have felt understood, but I also feel like it would not have been good for my mental state, for sure. The Prophecy is such a song of like desperate longing and just your last ditch effort to like look to the sky and ask for help from the universe, from God, from anyone that's going to listen. You are just out of options. Usually from personal experience, when you get to that point, usually you're close to the next thing that is meant for you. And I really love how Taylor Swift can like admit that she feels like this too. Like even someone as successful as she is, being so sad and just wanting to have someone to share her love with that is going to be appreciative of it. Even someone like her can feel that way, just like the rest of us. When she says, a greater woman stays cool, but I howl at the moon like a wolf. Wait, what did she say? There's so many lyrics in this album. A greater woman stays cool, but I howl like a wolf at the moon. Ugh. I'm so afraid I've sealed my fate. No sign of soulmates. I'm gonna need 5 business days to recover from that lyric. Like, that is the bottom. That is the breaking point, and that is thoughts that a lot of us have, which, even though that is not always going to be true. Like, I know what it's like to, like, absolutely, like, think that and fully with your chest, you're never gonna find somebody, but just think about it. Taylor Swift was feeling like this, and then she met Travis. And I'm not saying Travis is the one, but, like, the fact that she can continue to open up her heart after feeling like this is very admirable. And I feel like Taylor, of all people, is someone we should look up to when we are having these feelings, because she has always been kind of like an open heart, regardless of how many times she's been hurt. She's always like thinking love is worth it. So anyways, that's my little speech there. Back to the prophecy. Okay, we are gonna put the prophecy in, I'm torn between the second and third tier. I love this song. Okay, personally, I'm putting it in the second tier. Yes, locked in. I'm not allowed to change it. Okay, moving on to Cassandra. Now, this song is one of those songs Taylor draws on literary, historical kind of figures to make a point, and I just love when Taylor pulls on these different allusions to like get her point across, essentially. This song is basically Mad Woman reincarnated. Like, the piano of this song sounds very similar, and also the melody kind of has that same minor kind of sound to it. I think the meaning of this song is super important, just being like, no one believed Cassandra when she told them, I think it was it the Trojans? I don't know. Something in Greek mythology. I really should just look up like who Cassandra is. I've read it before. But essentially, she was trying to warn people from an oncoming attack, and they killed her because they didn't believe her, and then they were attacked, which just tells you, like, it's just like the respect for women, I think, is what she's getting at, is very much brushed over. This is definitely a folklore-y song, maybe Evermore song. I feel like Evermore is more wintry vibes, and this gives me like more folklore vibes, with the piano being so similar to Mad Woman. And basically she just saying like, I told you so, you should have listened to me. My favorite lyric from this song is, blood's thick but nothing like a payroll. Like, people will do a lot for money. People will betray, people will break promises, all in the name of a couple extra bucks. So for the meaning of this song, I really appreciate and respect it, but for the melody and the overall vibe of the song, it just kind of is very neutral to me. I'll listen to it, but I'm not having it on repeat per se. So I think I'm gonna put this one in The Story's Got Dust on Every Page. I like it, but it's not one that I'm like, oh my god, I love this song. So in relation to everything else, I feel like it just kind of is on the lower end of the scale for me, but I respect and appreciate the meaning and the lyrics. I respect the meaning lyrics of every single song, obviously. I'm just trying not to get canceled. Okay, Peter. Okay, I'm just gonna make the knee-jerk reaction that I had in my head and put this in the top tier. It's so good. Like, I love the metaphor of Peter Pan, like all the little nods to the storybook tale of Peter Pan, and the overall theme that it is just kind of like this false hope of a fairy tale type of thing. Taylor is Wendy, and I love the connection this song has to Cardigan when she says Peter losing Wendy. Just when she, when she says, you said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me, it's almost just like you can feel the sadness and the desperate and the anxiety that this song, like, she's repeating it over and over. You said you were gonna grow up, you said you were gonna come and get me, you said this, and she's like exhausted by the end of it. I love the rhyming as well, like the very like wavy rhyming. Forgive me, Peter, my lost fearless leader. Just like every rhyme being the same for a few lines is one that's very like satisfying to hear. Oh my gosh, just like the words here. The goddess of timing once found us beguiling. Taylor, did she just have that in her head? Literally crazy vocabulary. It's very like she's telling a story as well. And obviously in the story of Peter Pan, he always says he'll come back, but once he comes back, like, Wendy is all grown up. Like, she didn't wait for him. And Taylor's saying like, I can't wait for you anymore. So when we get to the bridge, I won't confess that I waited, but I let the lamp burn. This whole song is so revealing of so much. Oh my god, the other lyric that kills me is when she says, "And the shelf life of those fantasies had expired, lost to the Lost Boys chapter of your life." Ugh. But the woman who sits by the window has turned out the light. A situationship that went on for 10 years, and eventually, when promises were not kept, it was time to go. Pun intended. So anyways, lyrically, with the storytelling method and the piano and just how her voice sounds, everything sonically about this song is very high for me. Very high up there. So Peter, top tier. The Bolter is such a fun song, and it's not the way I thought she was going with this song, with the protagonist being, you know, the narrator is the Bolter. I love the lyric, "Excellent fun until you get to know her." I felt seen. Started with a kiss, so we must stop meeting like this. Very catchy, and I think I'll put it in the 3rd tier because I just think it's a fun song, a really good melody, really good song. And then towards the end, she says, "Ended with the slam of a door, but she's got the best stories, you can be sure." This is giving Sagittarius vibes all over the place. Like, she must go, she must have freedom, you know, very like nomadic. Just, yeah. I think this song, if it had a star sign, this would be a Sagittarius. Okay, so moving on to Robin. I actually really love this song. I feel like this one is already so underrated and nobody really is talking about it. This is gonna be a song that I come back to and I will appreciate more over time because I feel like you need to live some life and really like reflect on the lyrics of this song. I feel like not everyone understands it, but it's kind of like, the one thing that made me understand it more is obviously this is about Aaron Dessner's kid named Robin. Like, that's the inspiration for it. And it is just kind of about like watching your children grow up and what you can and can't protect them from, and just like the sweetness of it all. So I think this is gonna be one that I will appreciate later on, but I did see a TikTok that was this mom, and she was like, "You know that this song is good when it brings like my husband to tears thinking about our daughter." So when you think about it from that perspective, I think you can appreciate the song a lot more. I'm gonna put it in the 3rd tier just because it's a sweet song. It's kind of just very consistent all the way through. My favorite part is like, "Way to go, tiger." I just love that melody so much. So that one is gonna be right in the middle. Great little story, and one that will grow with time. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna rank Fortnite the remix. I'm not a super fan of remixes, so maybe I'll just put that in the bottom just so that there's something to be there. I'm sure if it came on in the club or the bar, I would be dancing. Just getting down to Fortnite remix, I can tell you I probably have only listened to it once and I don't really remember it. I'm not really a remix girly. Save for Bad Blood remix. That one goes hard, obviously, with Kendrick Lamar, but I don't know. I'm not really like a uns girl, so we'll just put them at the bottom by default just so that there's something there because I feel like I have been way too kind in this ranking. The Manuscript. This is one that took me weeks of listening to fully hit me, and I think this song initially was overshadowed by the drop of the Anthology because it was the very last song we listened to, and by that point we had been listening to new music for over 2 hours. So I feel like I got it. Like the last lyric, "The story isn't mine anymore," was so impressionable, so like the perfect way to end this entire work, but it took me going back and listening to it. It is the last song, so it doesn't always come up when I'm shuffling the album or if I'm playing it in order. It's at the very, very end. This one has risen very quickly to be one of my favorites, and I feel like just in the grand scheme of things, this song completely captures one of my favorite lyrics of all time from You Are in Love, when Taylor breaks the fourth wall and she says, "You understand now why they lost their minds and fought the wars, and why I've spent my whole life trying to put it into words." I feel like she wrote an entire song about that sentiment, where at first she's talking about her life in kind of like the third person. Now and then she rereads the manuscript, kind of going throughout her whole life, how when she was younger, she dated older men who kind of talked down to her. She dated boys that were her own age, and how writing was always there for her to get her through all of these experiences. verses. And one of my favorite lines is when she says, "The professor said to write what you know, looking backwards might be the only way to move forwards." And that is essentially what she lives by. Like, she just writes what she knows and what she experiences. And as somebody who is a writer, I just connect with that so much. And this last line of that stanza, she says, "At last she knew what the agony had been for." That is so similar to the end of the "You Are in Love" bridge when she says, "You understand why they've lost their minds and fought the wars, why I've spent my whole life putting it to words." Like, it kind of makes sense. There's some clarity that comes through here. Like, you know what the agony had been for. And the only thing that's left is the manuscript. The only thing that's left is her words. When she is long gone, the one thing that's going to live on is her words, and nobody's even going to think about the guy she dated or who broke up with her to make that song happen, because all that's going to be left is her words that she wrote and not these other narratives. Now and then I reread the manuscript, but the story isn't mine anymore. I'm like, this is like turning into a lyric breakdown. I can't help myself, truly, but this last stanza kills me, and it's like literally the most perfect ending. Now and then she goes through and she reflects on her old works, and she can look back on it very fondly, but once she's left that era of her life, it is no longer something she holds anymore, which is why she made it so clear in her caption of this album that there is no score to be settled once wounds have healed. And this is her saying that. The story is not mine anymore. Ugh. The perfect ending. I can't think of a better way that she could have ended this. So this is going in the top tier just because it is like the perfect way to end this whole album. Okay, that was so much. Yeah, this was a lot, and I hope I've done this ranking justice. I hope I've explained myself well enough. I would absolutely love to hear, now that I've ranked the entire 2 albums, what your top 5 are, maybe from the entire 30 songs, because I think my top 5, well, it's right in front of me here. The Black Dog, Down Bad, Guilty as Sin, Love of My Life, The Manuscript. Okay, wait, is that 5? Okay, we'll go with that. And then honorable mentions being I'm Gonna Get You Back, How Did It End, Peter, I Look in People's Windows. Those are my top, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's my top 10, right? Or no, top 9 are in the top tier. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I would love to hear your thoughts, as brutal as they could be, on my ranking. I'm sorry I couldn't put any in the bottom tier just because I don't like being problematic, and I don't even think any of them deserve that, because none of them were a bad time. They were all a good time. I know that this will change over time. Like, my rankings always change. My favorite songs from every album change as I go through life, and as it should, because we all go through experiences that, like, maybe we can't relate to certain songs now, but like, you rediscover them later on and they become very important to you. So with that being said, thank you for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Subscribe to the channel for more videos if you are not already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.